Someone hates you right now. Maybe you know exactly who it is. Maybe you can feel it in the way they look at you or the way they don't. Maybe it's the person who talks about you behind closed doors, who roots for your failure quietly, who smiles at you in public and tears you apart the moment you leave the room. And society tells you one thing about this: protect yourself, cut them off, rise above it. But nobody tells you the part that actually matters. Because what if the person who hates you is unknowingly handing you two of the most powerful gifts a human being can receive? Stay with me. Let's start with something most people get completely wrong about hate. We think hate is about us. We think when someone despises us, it means something is wrong with us, that we did something unforgivable, that we are too much, too loud, too ambitious, too different, that we failed some invisible social test we didn't even know we were taking. But psychologists have known something for decades that most people never learn. Dr. Carl Jung called it projection. It's one of the most documented psychological defense mechanisms in the history of the field, and here is how it works. When a person cannot face something inside themselves, a desire they've suppressed, a failure they haven't processed, a quality they secretly wish they had, their mind does something elegant and destructive at the same time. It takes that uncomfortable truth and throws it outward, onto someone else, onto you. In other words, the thing they hate about you is almost always the thing they cannot accept about themselves. The colleague who resents your confidence, spent years being told they were too much and learned to shrink. The family member who mocks your ambitions, buried theirs a long time ago and called it being realistic. The person who can't celebrate your success without a comment designed to minimize it, is quietly standing in front of a mirror they refuse to look into. You are not their target, you are their reflection. And that is the first gift. Gift 1, a mirror you didn't know you were holding. Here is something fascinating that most people never stop to consider. The people who hate you are giving you a map not of who you are, but of exactly who you're becoming. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that envy and resentment are most intensely felt toward people who represent what the envier most desires, not strangers, not celebrities they'll never meet. The people closest to their own possible future. Read that again. People resent the version of you that is closest to the version of themselves they gave up on. Think about the people who have hated you most in your life, not the random critics, the real ones, the persistent ones, the ones who couldn't seem to stop thinking about you long enough to leave you alone. What were you doing at the time? Were you growing? Were you choosing yourself when they couldn't? Were you building something quiet and real while they were stuck in the same place they'd always been? Because here is what the research consistently shows. Psychologist Sarah Hill at Texas Christian University found that social comparison becomes most painful and most aggressive when the gap between where someone is and where they want to be is closing, not widening. Closing. The closer you get to the thing they wanted, the louder the noise becomes. So, when someone hates you right now, before you internalize it, before you let it rewrite the story you're telling about yourself, ask one honest question. What am I doing that they wish they were doing? The answer will tell you more about your direction than any compliment ever could. That is not arrogance, that is data, and data doesn't lie. The hate is a compass. It points toward the version of you that is threatening to someone else's comfort. And a version of you that threatens people, that is a version worth becoming. That is gift 1. Now here's where it gets deeper, because the second gift is quieter, more personal, and in many ways, more powerful than the first. We have spent most of our lives being told that the goal is to be liked, to be accepted, to avoid conflict, smooth things over, keep the peace. And so, when someone hates us, we do something deeply human and deeply costly. We contract, we get smaller, we second-guess the choices that were right, we soften the edges that made us visible. We try to become something less threatening, less bright, less ourselves, hoping that if we disappear just enough, the discomfort will stop. But psychology tells us this is exactly backwards. Dr. Brené Brown at the University of Houston spent over 2 decades researching shame and vulnerability. And one of her most consistent findings was this: the people who were most comfortable with others' disapproval were not the ones who stopped caring. They were the ones who had done the hardest work of all. They had decided who they were. Gift 2, the pressure that builds you. There is a concept in material science called stress hardening. When certain metals are placed under controlled pressure and stress, their molecular structure doesn't break. It reorganizes. It becomes denser, more resistant, harder to destroy. Your psychology works the same way. A 2021 longitudinal study from the University of California followed adults who had experienced sustained social rejection, not isolated incidents, but ongoing relational opposition. What they found defied what most people would expect. The participants who did not withdraw, who kept moving, kept building, kept becoming developed what researchers called psychological density, a kind of self-concept so solid that external hostility stopped penetrating at the same depth. In plain language, the hate stopped landing the same way. Not because they became numb, not because they stopped feeling, but because they had built something inside themselves so real and so clear that someone else's noise couldn't find the crack it used to. Think about the version of you that exists before someone's opinion of you mattered. That version, the one who made decisions from clarity instead of fear, who chose from identity instead of approval, that version was always the strongest one. And the interesting thing, you can only find that version under pressure. Not when everything is comfortable, not when everyone approves, when someone hates you and you keep going anyway. That is the exact moment you discover what you are actually made of. The hate didn't reveal your weakness, it revealed your structure. And once you know your structure, once you have stood in someone's contempt and stayed yourself, no one gets to make you doubt your foundation again. Not easily, not completely. That is gift 2. Now, here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Both of these gifts come with a condition. And the condition is this: you have to be willing to stop trying to fix the person who hates you. This is where most people lose years. They spend their energy explaining, justifying, shrinking, performing, trying to turn the hater into a believer, trying to prove that they are not who they've been made out to be. And that effort, however understandable, is the exact thing that costs you both gifts. Because the mirror only works if you're looking at it, not trying to smash it. And the pressure only builds you if you're moving through it, not frozen in place trying to earn someone's approval. Dr. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor who wrote Man's Search for Meaning, described something he called the last of human freedoms. The ability to choose your response to any given condition, not to control what happens to you, not to control how others see you, but to decide what you will do with what you are given. Someone hates you. That is what you've been given. What will you do with it? Here's what the quietly strongest people do. And you may already know this, even if no one has named it for you before. They take the compass and they keep walking. They don't announce it. They don't perform their healing for the person who hurt them. They don't wait for an apology that may never come or a change that the other person isn't ready to make. They just take the information because hate is always information, and they move in the direction it's pointing. Quietly, steadily, without bitterness. Because bitterness, psychologists will tell you, is what happens when someone lets the hate live inside them instead of letting it pass through. When someone confuses carrying the wound with honoring it. You are not required to carry it. You are allowed to take the gift, set down the packaging, and keep walking. And if you're watching this right now, someone has probably made you feel like you were too much, too intense, too ambitious, too different. Like your growth was an inconvenience to their stillness. Like your peace was somehow a judgment of their chaos. I want you to hear this clearly. You were never the problem. You were the mirror. You were the pressure. You were the version of something they hadn't found the courage to become yet. And the fact that you are still here, still moving, still building, still watching videos like this because you are trying to understand yourself more deeply instead of tearing someone else down that already tells you something important. You are not the person who hates. You are the person who grows. And that is not a small thing. That is everything. If this landed for you today, leave a comment. Tell me which gift felt most true. I read every single one. Protect your peace. Keep walking.